G'day guys, Shawnee from Life and Tennis. In today's video, I'll be discussing the PTPA's lawsuit that they have filed against basically all of the major tennis organisations, which happened about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, the PTPA, which is the Professional Tennis Players Association, it was co-founded by Novak Djokovic and Vasek Pospisil essentially like 6 years ago in 2019. It was formed essentially to protect, singles and doubles players from mistreatment and unfairness. And essentially, the PTPA, like I said in the last couple of weeks, essentially filed a lawsuit against the ATP, the WTA, the ITF, and the ITIA for negligence. Basically arguing that they failed to keep, professional tennis players in their best interest. In the official statement released by the PTPA, they listed multiple concerns, of which I will basically read out right now. So things like collusion to reduce competition, fixing prize money and suppressing player earnings, ranking point mandates, forcing an unsustainable schedule, disregard for players, exploiting players financially, and violating privacy rights. So essentially like 7 main items and agendas, and some quite strong areas there that they've essentially included in this lawsuit. Essentially the lawsuit basically has named 12 plaintiffs, of which Nick Kyrgios is one of them, alongside a handful of others. Despite Novak being one of the associations, the PTPA's co-founders, his name was left off the lawsuit as one of the plaintiffs, and he explained why ahead of the Miami Open last week or the week before that, basically stating that in his view, the wording was too strong in the lawsuit, and he basically said that essentially that while he's seen changes over the years, there are still fundamental things to be done. So I think he did basically what he's trying to say is he does agree in principle with the lawsuit, but the wording itself, it was a little strongly worded for his liking, but at the same time, there are things that need to be done, and that this involves all of the governing bodies, the governing tennis bodies essentially. And I just thought I'd just read a couple of the quotes from the PTPA, the lawsuit itself. So this is what Novak's talking about when he says, that there's strong wording in this lawsuit. So one of the things they said is the lawsuits expose systematic abuse, anti-competition practices, and a blatant disregard for player welfare that have persisted for decades. So that is very, very strong. Listen to this next part. You couldn't get more strongly worded than this next part. The ATP, WTA, ITF, and ITIA operate as a cartel by implementing a number of draconian, interlocking, anti-competitive restraints and abusive practices. So wow, you could not be more, obvious and blatant about what it is you're talking about. I mean, describing the governing bodies as a cartel, geez. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but to me it's cleverly worded and it's strong wording, but I almost wouldn't think that even for me, that word seems a bit strong comparing these organizations to a cartel. I'm not sure about that, but I guess there do seem to be a lot of players that are unhappy. I think the PTPA have stated that they basically spoke to about 300 different players, and they've essentially, from those 300, they've got 12 they've listed 12 as plaintiffs. So there's enough support there for what they're trying to achieve here to make some changes to how the governing bodies are basically running tennis, essentially. Novak did also state that he's always fought for, better representation and influence and, positioning of players globally in the sport, which, he's not one to shy away from the controversies. I think even, people who don't like Novak, his detractors, so to speak, could at least agree with that he's never shied away from that. Whereas, Nadal and Federer probably played it safe for most of their careers. Novak's always been very, very outspoken about a lot of these issues. So that is, I tend to agree with him on that one. And, even he was saying that, it's currently not where, it should be, basically. Novak clarified that statement about, a lot of players are not happy with where things are at currently by saying it's not just about prize money, because he has previously spoken about prize money not being, evenly distributed between, I guess anywhere from, say, the top 200 down to about 300 or 400 in the world. And yeah, he's always made that statement a lot in the past. But it's also about he basically said there are lots of points in the document, in the lawsuit, basically support his view that there are things that could be changed, that the governing bodies could do a little bit differently, in fairness for the wider professional tennis playing I guess community. So yeah, interesting comments and statements there from Novak. Funnily enough, Novak is not the only one who distanced himself from the lawsuit. One Carlos Alcaraz also said he's not supporting the PTPA lawsuit. Basically stating that there are some things he agrees with and some things he doesn't, which is interesting from Alcaraz's point of view. But again, I feel like with a lot of these top players, you won't probably see them complaining about it, because like anyone in the top 100, and especially those in the top 10, especially those that, have marketing deals and things like that. And especially those that actually get invited to exhibition matches and tournaments, with big prize money in addition to, I guess, the main tour. They're probably not going to complain about it because, why bite the hand that feeds? So that makes sense. And if I was in Alcaraz's position, I would be doing the same thing. I wouldn't be, signing off on that document. You wouldn't want to alienate yourself from the governing bodies, or even from, I guess, he probably, him saying that he agrees with aspects of it is him supporting the players. But then, I guess the side of him saying the points that he doesn't agree with could just be that how strongly worded it is, and him not wanting to, as I said, bite the hand that feeds, and all the governing bodies that really do help him out and support him to make a very, very good living from tennis. And knowing Alcaraz, he's made complaints last year about the scheduling and how, I think the quote was, the tour is, they're trying to kill us or something like that. I'm guessing that's one of the points of the lawsuit that he does agree with. But then again, as I said, he is still, getting invited to these exhibition, tournaments and getting good prize money from them as one of the top players in the world. As like, if I was in that position, I wouldn't say no to that either. So, so I guess, there are players, a lot of players probably, even the top guys would say agree with aspects of the lawsuit, but not everything, because it is, quite wide ranging. So yeah, very, very interesting to see how this case and this lawsuit progress. But yeah, very interested to hear what you guys think about this. Whether you think it's a good thing that the PTPA are, I guess, going into bat, fighting for the players, and whether you think this is the right approach and this will have, or what sort of outcome this will have. So please leave your opinions in the comments below. And as always, guys, please like and subscribe for more tennis and life related content. Cheers, guys.